fuck was that?
Welcome to What the Fuck Did I Dream Last Night? I'm Jaynee.
I'm Jess. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Crack-a-lackin'.
I'm drinking brisk and Haynes really excited.
Yeah, I was like, so what you drinking? I just heard like crack something before we started in a brisk. I don't know if you guys have ever had a brisk or heard of a brisk. Maybe people still drink it regularly, and I'm just out of the loop.
Okay.
It's just
First,
like iced tea in a can.
brisk has multiple different kinds of iced tea. Like there's like brisk
What?
unsweetened, brisk like if you go to a restaurant that has Pepsi products and you get like a sweet tea or unsweet tea, half the time it's brisk.
I was obsessed with brisk.
But
It's literally just
me
iced
too.
tea in a
But
can.
I like the lemon brisk.
That's all I ever had. I think brisk back in the day, like when they had lemon.
Um But so Trevor brought this home from his grandma's party. Like they had like all this leftover pop, and there was brisk. And I was like, "Shut up!" And like I never buy it because it's like the kind of drink that like I just chug it. Like if I had like a 12 pack of it in my fridge, I would just chug it. Like
I mean, I'm not exaggerating. I probably haven't had brisk in 15 years.
exactly, I haven't either. And
I'm so excited to try brisk again.
so Trevor brought it home, and I was super excited. Then on Memorial Day, we went to someone's house, and I was like looking. I was like, man, I don't want this. I don't want that. I was like, what other pops do other people have? So I started going through other people's coolers, and Bill's like, oh, there's pop in there. I'm like, brisk. I was like, it just keeps coming around me. So I drank one
Oh,
there
wow.
too. Like so I think people are still drinking it. I
It
think I
must have
just
been on
forgot about
sale.
it.
If you guys have never had a brisk, do yourself a favor and go buy one right now.
If you like lemon iced tea.
Yeah, watch me drink. If I drink it again and I don't like it, I'm gonna be really heartbroken, and I know I'm not gonna like it nearly as much as I did.
No, it tastes the same.
But like my tastes have changed.
Well, so is mine.
Like
But
I don't drink as much, like I don't know. Or I might like it more. I don't know. I'm so excited. I'll let you guys know.
I feel like it just still tastes like childhood.
I hope we dream about brisk tonight.
Listen, this
You've
is
been
really
dreaming about pop a lot and soda.
I am going really deep into food today in my dream too.
Oh, I'm excited.
First I wanted to ask you this though before we got into a brisk talk. I'm really switching gears. What's up?
Well, I was gonna nothing.
Oh, okay.
You're good. I'll bring that back up later.
And this is okay. So recently, I keep blaming everything on pregnancy. Clearly,
Obviously,
we only got 2 more months till I
You are growing a human. You can literally do whatever you want. That's not, totally illegal.
So I have been like drooling terribly. Now, I've always like drooled in my sleep, I think, but not like this. Like I have like woken up with like my face is wet. I feel like I've woken myself up from how much drool I have been drooling.
That is so disgusting.
I need to know if this is it has like what is happening. I'm wondering if I'm like just so like fucking tired at the end of the night where I'm just like fuck it. Like
Well, I know like in pregnancy you produce more like fluid and volume
everything.
in general.
You just have more. I don't know. Then like, cause like I've talked about my nasal problems, so I'm like maybe I can't breathe through my nose, so my mouth is just like here.
Do you use a nasal spray? Maybe try a nasal spray. That's probably it actually.
Nasal spray's not gonna do anything for me.
Well, but if you clear, if you can breathe better, I don't know.
It's just like saline spray I'm gonna use right now.
Yeah, that's all I use. That's better than any allergy or medicine or anything.
I mean, I use that all year round.
Fun fact.
I'm like I don't know. I'm like a nerd when it comes to that stuff. Like one time at work, my nose was so bad and itchy, I didn't have nasal spray, and I used someone's eye contact solution. Like I put it on a like a napkin.
That's
and, like,
actually pretty
swabbed my nose because like I'm dying.
That's genius.
Uh-huh.
I don't know though. I can't help you there. Anybody who drools puddles
I want to
in the
know.
middle of the night and are pregnant, please let Jaynee know.
Like I'm waking myself
Or somebody
up.
just lie and say they do it.
Yeah, just tell me, make me feel good.
I'm a
Just
terrible liar, and she's
just message
looking at
me
me
and
on
be
video
like,
right
dude,
now.
I wake
So.
myself up in my slobber all the time. It's so gross, but I just
It's
think
so gross.
but it's so funny. Like,
I'm gonna have to have a private conversation with your husband about this.
he doesn't have any fucking clue what goes on. He's passed out.
Trevor, don't touch that side.
He, as soon as his head hits the pillow, he's out. He's done. It's over. I'm just like, la 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 la. What do we do now?
You're just grown a human.
I just am drooling. I don't find drooling that, like, gross, though. Because, like...
Apparently, I find drooling up there with hot dog water. It's really grossing me out.
Why?
I don't know. I never knew this about myself till this moment in time right now.
Because, like, if I'm sharing a bed with you, if your drool grosses me out, then, like, we probably shouldn't be sharing a bed together.
Oh, I know. Like you do different, obviously different. Yeah.
I wish you guys
Saliva.
could...
Your partner's saliva should not gross you out. But
Haynes
I mean, I
plays...
drool too. Like I'm not. I drool. I know I drool. My God. But I don't know. I guess I never thought about it.
She's so
No,
uncomfortable.
I am. I
I
don't know what
love
to do with
this.
my hands.
I love when I make you uncomfortable over, like, a nothing topic. Like, I can't wait to do the one episode where I'm going to make you feel so fucking
Well, do you know
uncomfortable.
what's like funny about this is that like working in medicine, we generally don't get like grossed out as easily about things you would think, but there's just certain stuff that you learn like that you just like can't do. And I guess drool is one of them. I don't like just nasally stuff. I don't like anything like I just deal with the heart, okay? Like below the chin, above the belly button, that's my
I don't like
good.
snot. Snot grosses me out.
Yeah, maybe we should move on. I think we probably lost about half our listeners right
That's okay. They're fine. They're fine. It's about sleep. So
now. It was sleep related. I
they
will
are
give you that.
not in the damn right area then. Or, I don't know. I just yelled at them.
You asshole.
She yelled at our
Kidding,
damn
we love you.
listeners.
We love you.
If drool
Let
grosses
us,
you out, then maybe you are not. If that's the thing,
this
I
is a
hope
safe
so.
place. If you need to talk about any weird bodily functions, we're here for you, okay?
While sleeping.
While sleeping, I mean, if it's while not sleeping, I might redirect you somewhere else, but
No, no, I don't like where this is going.
I'm just trying to be supportive because we just yelled at our listeners.
I don't know if I want to know everything.
I don't either, clearly.
No, and I'm gonna be the one that gets the
I was
emails
just
and
about to
stuff.
say
So,
that.
like,
I was just about to say that. I'm requesting this, but Jaynee's gonna be the one that has to read them and filter them, and then make me say them in an embarrassing fashion.
yeah, no, let's not, guys. Let's not do that. But do whatever the fuck you want. Go for it. I'll answer. Maybe just wait until I'm like, give me like 2 months so I'm drinking again. Then I'm like having wine and reading these emails, and I'm gonna be like, that's fucking disgusting, but that's so interesting.
And then she'll go down a rabbit hole.
Sure will.
And then dream about it.
I didn't go down a snot. Damn it. I didn't go down a drool rabbit hole yet.
That's good. Now I'm gonna dream out a giant puddle of drool, probably that I'm like falling in. That's gonna turn into a wave that overtakes me because I dream about waves all the time. Stay tuned for next week.
It's gonna be my drooly wave. Just wait until like we actually go on our dirty 30. I'll make sure we share a bed together, and then you'll have all the dreams about my saliva just overtopping you.
Well, the ironic thing about this conversation is that my husband just got a mouth guard to sleep with that night because I guess he like grinds his teeth terribly. So, so he's gonna have like a drooly, and you just a mouth guards are just
Haynes gonna be sleeping on the couch.
yeah,
Like guest room or something.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that we went down that giant tangential rabbit hole, what you got?
All right. So I called this dream. Ready? Are you ready for it?
Yes.
It's really dumb, but it's funny. Give me that
Say
crab.
what is it?
Oh, we talked at the same time. It's called Gimme That Crab. Give me that crab.
I wish you could have seen her arms when she was doing this. It was like she had T-Rex arms, like flailing in the air, like when like someone gets really excited.
This is not the first time that I have been referenced as a T-Rex before. G used to call me because I used to do like this all the time. I used to do this when I was
You get
driving.
excited.
I don't know. Don't drive with me because I
It's
do
like if a
T-Rex arm.
T-Rex was trying to fly. That's what she did with her arms. It was really cute, really exciting. And I think it really reflected her excitement over this dream. So I look forward to it.
So this dream is not that exciting, but it has your brother in it.
Sweet. Today's his
Um,
birthday. So happy birthday, Paul.
oh,
Well,
perfect.
so today, the day of recording.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
great.
shout out to
Look at
Paul.
that. Look at that. All
Yeah.
right. So this dream starts out, and I'm in a Dairy Queen, which is set up more like this Kerber's ice cream shop that we have out here.
Girl, you are killing me with these childhood throwbacks that I cannot have right now.
Gotta move home.
Oh,
Well, you can have
I
Brisk
know.
forever, I guess. You don't have to move home for Brisk.
I'm gonna have Kerber's in the fall. Though Kerber's is like an amazing ice cream shop back home, and but they have like the best flavors that fall. Me, what I think personally, 'cause I love pumpkin.
But Kerber's is fantastic.
Yes.
It's
So,
local.
anyways,
It's a local ice cream place, so
before I go down another rabbit hole for 10 minutes,
we could. So if you know what Kerber's is like, that like this Dairy Queen is set up like this Kerber's is, but it's Dairy Queen. So I'm in line and they have these like 60-cent birthday fries. Okay, this is great that it's your brother's birthday and he's in this dream. Now we got birthday fries and I'm going to talk about cake here in a minute. I just can't. I love when shit works out like this. I got all the hand
killing it.
motions today.
You are killing it.
Okay. So they had these 60-cent birthday fries, which was like a special. And
Mm.
then they had these like coupons in this podium, like in the middle of our line that you walk through. But it
Mm-hmm.
was the coupon for the free 60-cent fries. So not even paying for 60-cent birthday fries, you can get them for free if it was your birthday. So I faked that it was my birthday to get these french fries for free.
Respect.
I don't know. Yeah. Everybody else was doing it, so like felt like I had to do it too. But there was only like maybe like 3 or 4 other people there, so it wasn't like it was really busy and whatever. And the one guy was like, "No, like you should definitely like use the coupon." He's like, "Just do it, just do it. It's a free 60-cent fries." Like I'm like, "But it's free. I can pay. I can afford the 60 cents." I felt guilty in my dream.
Oh yeah. Well, you
So
would feel guilty in real life too.
I don't know if I would.
You would.
Okay,
You would.
all right, fair.
Like not terribly loosely, but like you would. You would like pause before doing it.
So
I would too.
next in this dream, I was eating cake, which I think we got the cake from the guy because we got birthday fries, but I never got ice cream. But I had some cake and some fries.
So sad. Was it ice cream cake?
No, I think it was just cake, just regular,
Okay.
some kind of regular cake.
Okay.
So, all right. So there were like these round tables where we
Okay.
sat down at, and I kept like making sure I was like trying to share my cake with people because of like the guilt that I had for like doing this. Like I was sharing
Right.
my like free shit. I don't think I paid for anything. Like I think I just got all of this like shit for free.
And it wasn't your birthday.
It sure wasn't. It wasn't anybody's birthday. We all like how are they gonna be like, oh, it's your birthday? Like it was like all 4 of our birthdays. We weren't friends with each other. Like I was there by myself.
That's hilarious. But the four of you were sitting together,
So
eating free food. You're all criminals. You're bonded by the crime now.
yeah.
You're long forever
Every
best friends.
time that I have people like this in my dream that I don't know that I'm not like friends with, I always just wonder if it's the same people I went to Japan with in that one dream. I don't know why, but that's who I associate. Like that's my dream
Like your
friend.
dream crew. Your dream
Uh-huh.
crew. Man,
Okay.
we're gonna have to do some research on that.
Yeah. So I'm sitting at this like round table, and I kept like giving this one girl, I'm like, dude, just take the rest of my cake. Like, I'm not gonna eat it. Like, it was free. Like, just eat the damn cake. She's like, okay. So then I like left, and then we totally like switch scenes.
Okay.
And now I'm in like a basement-y room, but it's not really a basement, but it kind of gave me like basement vibes. But it was just like a darker room, and there were some windows to outside. And it's like your brother's place. It's almost like a studio apartment. Like it had like everything like right there. And which isn't like your brother's place in real life. Like it was just where he lived in my dream.
Did you see me trying to like envision my brother's place? And I'm just like, what place is she talking about?
Yeah, that's why I felt the need to
I
say
wasn't
that.
gonna say anything, but
Like, no. This is just a made up place in my dream.
that's funny actually. Paul's getting two shout outs. The last episode he was in my dream.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his
he
birthday.
had to help me move, yeah. Or he had to help his buddy move.
Now he's in his own place.
Look at that.
um, do. All right, so it's me, your brother, and then there's like another guy friend of his, and we're just like hanging out. And there's also like a bar in this room as well, and like a TV. Like it was real cool room to like
Kind of jealous this isn't like
hang
real
out.
life.
It was a very very like busy room though. Like there was like lots of stuff around.
Hmm.
Um, then there was this gambling machine in there, and his buddy was playing it, and he was like, I said, oh my gosh, I haven't played that game in so long. I definitely want to play when you're done. I feel like everything's just making full circle because I feel like we just said that about like pop and shit right now. But anyways. um so then Paul chimes in and he's like, oh man, I want to play too, but I had to stop gambling. Like it was becoming a major issue for me. And I'm like, oh shoot, I'm sorry. Like I had no idea. But like one game won't hurt like for you to play. Like I'll just pay for you.
The enabler.
I sure
It's
am.
actually concerning because my brother really likes to bet on sporting events, like like what people do on like Barstool or not Barstool. I don't know. You can bet online and stuff.
Yeah.
FanDuel, that's what it's called.
Hmm.
And I'm like,
I
Paul, is
have them
this a
all on my
problem?
phone.
Let's walk through how you do this. How do you know when to stop? How do you know when to
I do it all the time. Me and Trevor are obsessed with it as well.
call 1-800-GAMBLING if you have a problem?
Um, don't be an enabler. Okay, so I'm like, I'll pay for you for one game, like, so it's not like you're playing. Um, so he starts playing, and then he's like, all right, I gotta go outside for a minute. Like, I'll be right back. The crab is in the claw machine cage. Just leave it there, and I'll get it when I come back in. Now, like, the claw machine is what I'm talking about, is like, it's like a toy claw machine, but it
Mm-hmm.
was like an oven. Like, that's how he cooked stuff. But it had like the claw, and it just was like someone took a claw machine and turned it into an oven somehow, and that's how you cooked food. I don't know how it really worked.
Did you happen to see him get the food out of it? Like,
Hold on. We
oh,
didn't get there
keep
yet.
going.
It has, but disappointing you. It does. We don't get it out with the claw.
Bummer.
It
That's what
just,
I was
I
thinking.
know, it
It's
just
so happening in
opens.
my head.
It just opens up like a door, but the claw's there for like decoration.
Almost like a big popcorn machine.
Yeah. So okay, so he tells me just to leave it there, and I'm like, okay. And I look over at this crab, and it was like real crab that was like, and it was like shredded, and it was coated in butter. Like it just looked so damn good in my dream, and it was like a mound of crab. I don't know. It
Oh,
was just a mound of like crab that
no,
was
I could
already
get down on that for sure.
de-shelled, like just looks
Mm.
so good. And then there was also crab stuffed mushrooms like next to it too. And
Mm.
I like couldn't control myself, and I just started like grabbing handfuls of the crab and like eating it. And
Are you allowed to eat crab when you're pregnant?
you can eat crab.
Or do you have to like, okay. I was wondering if it was something you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to devour this in 2 months.
I don't know what the fuck is happening. This is the second time I dreamt about crab. But
Eat crab.
so I'm like grabbing handfuls and I'm eating it, and I kept like thinking, I'm like, he's gonna totally notice that I'm eating this food. Like he's gonna tell. Like I don't know. I was like, maybe if I eat some more over here, like it'll look even out. Like I'm not eating it. I was really worried about this damn crab. So, and I'm watching your brother like outside the window, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's coming back. But like, I take another little bite because I'm like, this is so damn good. Just I don't know where his buddy is at this point. Like I'm just in there by myself now, just eating this fucking crab. So, um, so he walks in and he's like, Jaynee, I can't believe like you got me into gambling again. Like fuck. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And then he was like, let's just go grab a drink. End of dream. I don't know what he thinks about the crab though. Like, am I in trouble?
You know, this is one of those ones where like I want to know what happened. I want to keep going. Like, where'd you guys go to get a drink? Did you go back to his like cool place, or did you guys like? I mean, did you go to the bar in that cool place?
I feel like
Did you
that
guys
week
go
we were
somewhere
already
else?
drinking
Was
there.
your dream crew there with you? Like, did you go to the casino?
No, he had all of this in his own room. He had his own gambling machine, and
But I'm just thinking like, did you guys, like just need to go out and get some air? Like let's just go grab a drink, and then it turned into a,
what was all that
I don't
crowd
know.
for?
I don't know. Did you guys make? I would make some delicious freaking crab cakes. Those stuffed mushrooms sounded really good.
Mm-hmm.
I never liked mushrooms. Now I'm kind of into mushrooms, so I might need to make some stuffed mushrooms with crab. So this is what needs to happen. I'm gonna come home and eat Kerber's ice cream and drink all your breasts, and then you need to come down to the beach apparently and go to an all-you-can-eat seafood buffet and just devour some crab.
um, this is my last can of brisk. I only had like 3 of them.
Moment of silence, please.
Okay. Well, first off, before I go into everything, I was on antiflow.com, femalefirst.uk, and dreamsastromeanings.com. I think this whole dream was just a mind dump, I believe. Because you had a dream recently about Dairy Queen that you talked about on here, so
Correct.
and this dream was more recently, like it happened after that, so I felt like my mind dreamland just now has
Yeah,
Dairy Queen as a
mind
place
dump.
now. I dreamt about fake crab before, so that's maybe why I'm dreaming about like the real crab before. But
Yeah,
like,
and can I just say I was really excited that it was real crab and that you knew the distinction that it was real crab because I can't really eat fake crab because it makes me sick. So when you said real crab, I was like, I can get down on this.
but you can tell the difference of it. It's very easy.
I know, but it's just funny like that you made those distinctions. Like most people, I don't know. Continue.
I don't know. I feel like there's a big difference.
There is.
Okay. I mean, I eat both of them, but I don't know. Um, but yeah, and I just dream about food all the time. And this whole dream I felt like was just about like fucking French fries, cake, crab. Took a little break to go gambling there, and then I'm drinking.
Yeah, this just sounded like a dream of like pure gluttony, honestly, and deliciousness. Although I'm really sad you did not get ice cream. And I tried my best not to interrupt you during that dream. Public service announcement. If you have not dipped french fries in ice cream or like a milkshake, you need to do that and then go buy yourself a can of brisk
Do you
because
know that like when
it is so good.
like my parents or whatever would take us to like Wendy's when we were growing up,
Mm-hmm.
your
Mm-hmm.
husband wouldn't sit at the same table as me because I dipped my fries in my Frosty because he thought it was disgusting. So he'd
He hasn't
literally,
changed much. I do it too. And he's like,
literally,
that is so
uh-huh,
gross.
he
Literally,
wouldn't
we
sit
just
at the same
had
table
this
as me.
conversation. I can't wait to tell him this. That's so funny.
Uh-huh, yeah, he wouldn't sit with me.
Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were at Sonic though in the car, so he couldn't. It's close enough where he could have gotten out and walked home, but it's so good. It's that like sweet and salty combo.
I feel like you gotta
Don't
do like
knock it till you try
the
it, guys.
Frosty, only at Wendy's. Like that's where you do it at. That's the best place to do it.
Agree.
Um, do you have anything else to say though
So,
before I go in?
no, not about that. Never.
Okay. It looks like I was like you didn't take any notes during that, but
No, I did. I
oh,
did. Um, I had It was about the public service announcement. Oh, did you look up this? And you can edit this out. Did you look up the significance of ice cream?
no, I didn't dream about ice cream.
Well, I was wondering because you did not get ice cream. I was wondering what ice cream signified and the fact that you did not get it.
Yeah, but didn't even seem that big of a deal that I didn't get the ice cream in my dream because like Kerber's has like other things, like they sell like food and shit too. So,
I was just wondering. It's something stuck out to me.
but
You'd
I am
educate
gonna
me.
go into this whole. I'm gonna dive into this whole like food thing.
Okay, I won't touch on that then. You do your thing.
Um. So, well, you can touch on it. I don't give two shits. I'm just
No, it's
I don't
alright.
have
It's
anything
not.
about
No,
that.
go ahead.
So first, like the basics. This like dreaming about food. Um, this could be that you like just enjoy food, or you're craving food, like you're craving some sort of food. And not like being pregnant, just in general, like you just might like food. And I mean, like all food I have been dreaming about, like I do love, like there's not. Besides, the other night I did dream about a pizza that I got that had green olives and black olives on it, which is not me at all. Like I'm not an olive person on
Yeah,
pizzas.
that is literally my nightmare.
But uh basically though I've been dreaming about foods that I enjoy. So, but in a dream, food is like a very, very broad thing that you have to look at uh, and like see, are you eating healthy food? What kind of food are you eating? Are you eating it fast, slow? Are you enjoying the food? Do you not like the food? Are you cooking it, serving it? Are you having a picnic? Like you get it. Like you have to like look at all these
Yeah,
different.
really diving into the context, and we're learning that I think more and more every week.
Yeah. So there's so you have to take into like all those other details around it as well to see what like to take it to analyze your own dream.
Sure.
So some of the feelings that you might have during your dream of food, you could have guilt, uncomfortable, full, cravings, embarrassed, happy, content, lonely. Um, Now this is like in your everyday life, like how you see food too. I think is going to reflect on your mood in there in your dream, because there are many people who struggle with food, like eating disorders and whatnot. So, how you feel about food daily and why you're dreaming about it might be something you have to ask yourself and see, which is why you should record dreams so you can go back and see like patterns and everything. So, I could definitely see if you are someone that like struggles with eating or even body images, these dreams could be like terrible nightmares for you and set off triggers for you. So, I'm going to bring it up again, which is very important why you write down these dreams, even if it's hard to put into words or it's just like tough to write it out. I do strongly believe in the long run, it'll help you process it and hopefully end those dreams down the road, and you can take more control of your dreamland.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And I have a, I'm still working on improving this because some days there's usually a couple of days of the week that I'm just, and I'm impressed that you've been able to keep up with this through your pregnancy because I know you're exhausted most of the time at this point. Um, there's usually a few days of the week I'm just like I'm so exhausted, or else if I have to take like Benadryl or allergy medicine, that I'm just out, and it's so hard for me to um, record the dream when I wake up if it's the middle of the night. And I also really try not to introduce like light or anything during my the nighttime
Yeah,
because I think it like throws off your sleep and your circadian rhythm. So I get very torn about this. But ultimately, if you just jot down a few words, and Jaynee taught me this, like it will probably spark your memory the
yeah,
next day. You know, like you don't need to write out the whole thing, which is what I would try to do. I would be like the dream I'm about to tell. I just wrote down like a few words, and I
yeah.
could remember it fairly decently. So just
And
try it out. And if you don't want to use your phone because you don't want to see any notifications or anything, then just jot down on a notepad.
uh huh. And it's just like, especially now that I've been doing it more religiously, like writing down my dreams, um, it totally helps. Like I was brought up a couple episodes ago, like how in like nightmare dreams that I would have considered nightmares like last year, I don't even consider them nightmares anymore because it's like I feel like I'm more in control when I'm
Yeah,
dreaming now, even if I'm not in control of what I'm dreaming or like what is in my dream, but I just feel like
right.
more at ease in my dreamland that I've created.
Yeah, that's a really good point. If
But
people, if you're, yeah, if you have like night terrors and things like that, again, we're not psychologists or psychiatrists, but just through this, I think our own journey, um, I think I've had more pleasant dreams than not, even despite still having like roller coaster waves of tremendous stress and anxiety.
yeah,
I feel like my dreams aren't, I'm not feeling that same stress and anxiety in my dream, but instead it's kind of helping me to better navigate what I need to do in my waking life to better control those emotions. And this is coming from the skeptic, remember, if you have not listened from the start. So I really do think it helps.
Also, whoa, my child is jumping right above me. She's very excited about whatever she's
What?
doing upstairs.
Oh my
She's really into jumping like a frog. But anyways, and galloping. But like she doesn't even know she's doing it like animals. She's just, I don't know, she's exploring. I do want to say that um I don't write down every single dream that like or as soon as I wake up in the morning. And I literally, if you follow me on Twitter, just today I tweeted, I was like, I am kicking myself for not writing down my dream as soon as I woke up because it was such a
Mhm.
damn
I
good
have so
dream.
many of those. I have so many of those.
And I was so excited because I was like, oh, I can't wait to like talk about that one and dive into it. And the
Don't fool
only
yourself that you'll remember because you probably won't remember. Just like try to
no,
write it down.
no,
I literally always fool myself, especially if it's like sometime between 2 or 4 in the morning because I have like a little like I have a clock that I can look at that's like very dim if it's positioned so I can have to turn to look at it if I so choose. So if
uh-huh.
it's like because that's another thing if you have trouble sleeping, like really try to eliminate if you can see a clock, turn it away if that hurts you. But if it's like 4 in the morning, I'm like, oh, I'll remember it. Like I'm gonna wake up in 2 hours. Nope.
No,
Especially if it's really vivid because there's a chance that you were in like a very deep sleep. Not always, as we've talked about, but
no,
you
that's
were in
when
a
your most
tremendously
vivid
deep
ones
sleep,
happen
right?
in REM. And oh, like I was like, so today I sat down. It was like after I was awake and stuff and doing things for a while. And I'm like, I want to figure out what this fucking dream is. And sometimes it will happen if I like have one detail of the dream. So I'm like, if I write this out, maybe something else will like come back to me. It fucking wouldn't. I was so all I remember is getting shot at and just seeing like bullets like fly around me, and I'm like, man, these guys suck at shooting at me. But that's
And you're
all I
turning into
freaking
my dreams.
remember.
You're turning into my dreams.
You know,
There's a phase where I was getting shot at a lot in dreams.
there's another dream that I did write down, and I have it that I was also getting shot at, and like I don't know, I don't watch a lot of like action movies and stuff, but
The
um,
best is when like you forget to write down your dreams. It doesn't happen so much now to me, but and you're talking to somebody or something happens in your day and you're like, holy shit, that was the craziest dream.
uh huh,
And you had no recollection of it until like 6 p.m. that day
yep,
when you're talking with your friend, like
yeah,
about the most random thing.
yep.
And then sometimes I think like, am I making this up? Or I think the person I'm talking to thinks I'm making it up. But I'm like, no, I have a very real memory.
No, 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 no. You're not making up. That's the thing. That's the thing. Um, so I did go into it and get a little more specific here with like with each food. Not every single food that I've dreamt about, or we'd be here for the next like 6 hours.
Stay tuned for part 2 where I analyze every single food that's ever existed.
like, um, like you know, because you've been on Auntie Flo's website,
Hmm.
and if anyone else
Oh
like is
yeah.
going on there, so she like really dives into like the one thing. Like if you go on there and look for water, she breaks down water all in that one page, or like she breaks down um cars like in driving all in that one page. But she doesn't do that for food. Like she's like, you need to click here and here and here to get to there if you think your food like is like. So it's very 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 broad.
Because it really gets into again, like the context. And,
Yeah, like this was like the broadest one that I found looking up. But
hmm
so French fries, they could be viewed as a tempting food, so you might be tempted by something in your waking life.
hmm
They can also be viewed as poor nutrition, so you could be having guilt about what you're putting into your body, or that you want or need to make changes to bad habits that you might have, that you want to kick them. You could also be focused on like little activities that have no like real value for your life, but like they still bring you joy. Which the way like they worded that, like I felt like they were saying that like negatively, and I'm like, well, what the fuck's wrong with that? Like,
Right.
you do little stupid shits that bring you joy.
Right.
Um, so then eating crab meat in your dreams. This is normally
Right.
a bad sign. I've dreamt about it
Hmm.
twice, so.
Speak for yourself,
Um,
Auntie.
This
or whoever
wasn't
said that.
anti-flow.
I was gonna say,
this
sorry, Auntie, my bad.
was kind of hard to find crab meat because I was like eating crab, and it was just like crabs, like the
Right, like
crabs
crabs
on
as
the shore.
animals.
I'm like, no, I'm eating them.
That was my marble dilemma last week. I kept
Yeah,
finding like marble as the substance, not as the
toy.
toy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's normally a bad sign and often indicates having health issues soon, which will, fortunately, they'll be short term. Um, but then there are a few cases in which it could be your desire to increase your income, or it shows like your sophisticated taste.
Hmm.
So we're gonna go with that one.
It's
I'm
funny
going
to
with that one.
me how so many symbols are always relate back to income, but I feel like that's probably what weighs on people a lot, right? Like a lot of us worry about money for one reason or another, in
Oh,
whatever way, what to do, you know. So, but it seems like so many different symbols can relate back to it. It's,
uh-huh.
yeah, it's a, that's where I kind of get cynical somewhat, but then I'm like, I think like what I do is I'll take that crab and kind of try to relate it to what else happened in your dream, and I kind of try to piece that all together to develop my interpretation, you know.
Yeah,
But I don't know if that's right or wrong.
I don't think there's a right or wrong way to interpret your own dream.
I don't think so, because even some of the best neuropsychologists and dream experts will sit there and probably debate away.
No one
That's
knows
what's
what.
fascinating about the brain
No one
and the
understands what
mind.
dreams are yet. Like, there's no.
No, that's exactly. You know,
There's
it's I
nothing
think it's
that's like this is why we dream. This is what
mhm.
it is.
Well,
End
it's like
of
the
story.
conscious and the subconscious and the spirit or what or not,
I
lack
could
thereof.
I
It's
couldn't
incredible,
imagine. Well, like, so I enjoy doing this, like, clearly,
right?
and I like reading about it, but I like reading about all the random shit, and like people will be like, "Well, you know all about dreams." I'm like, "No, I don't." I was like, "No, I don't. I don't know all about dreams." I go, "I just enjoy reading about dream stuff," and they're like, "Well, what does this mean?" I'm like, "You have to." Um,
Right.
I just think my biggest
And it
thing
takes a
is that how like the unknown of it. I think I just like love, but I could never imagine dedicating your life to that, or like that's what you're like go and like study, and then just like, but you don't know, like how you just don't know.
I think about that actually frequently in fields like that. You know, people will dedicate their life's work to something like actual, like, legitimate scientists who study things.
Yeah.
Because in medicine, I sit here and like, as a PA, a lot of what I choose to do is based off of somebody else studied something. I mean, for an incredible amount of time,
Hmm.
and did experiment upon experiment, and it produced results that I then act on. But I think about if somebody did that for years and then the results flopped, or they have like a theory that they ultimately can't really prove. I mean, man, that's dedication. Like, that's passion to your field. And I'm glad they're doing it, obviously, so we can try to learn from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I commend whatever field you do. If you do that, I commend you.
The one other thing I was gonna say, I think that's also why I'm so interested in it, because there is no like right or wrong. Like you can't like, I don't know,
Yeah, it's a
not just for like
mystery.
people to come at me and be like, oh no, you're wrong, you're right, but like, I don't know, anyone could take anything and be like, I was like, oh look, I didn't see that side of it.
Yeah,
Like it just,
it's a
it,
mystery.
yeah, it's like a great debate and like conversation, and I don't know, I
Especially
enjoy
interpretation and the application of that. I mean, when it comes to like the science behind it, like, you know, neurons in your brain and how they're connected and how chemicals and can induce certain things. There's
Yeah.
some science behind that, and there's facts that people can,
Yeah.
but just what we tend to focus on. Um, yeah, there's really no evidence and no right or wrong.
No,
So
I think it's just fun.
yeah, I
Um,
don't know if that makes us crazy or not, but
I don't know.
good or bad.
But for my last little thing here, we'll talk about cake real quick. Not ice cream, sorry. Maybe I'll dream about ice cream tonight. We'll go to ice cream another night, another day. Uh, so cake is normally a positive in your dreams, since cakes are normally made for someone else. Then like you don't normally make your own like cake, like you make a cake for someone's like birthday or some celebration or something. So a cake could be a symbol for love and compassion. So if you're eating a cake, it could also mean indulgence, which can be a positive thing. It can show you that you have a huge amount of love in your life, if you notice it or not. So in this
Hmm.
dream, it should teach you to embrace that love in your life. Like it should like help you open your eyes to what's around you and start like appreciating it and like enjoying it.
Okay.
And that's all.
And that relates back to enjoying the little things, and
Mhm.
I think you can make connections between all those, even though this was a mind dump. I think you can still get some positive connection and interpretation out of it.
Yeah.
Whereas, I think even 6 months or a year ago, I would have just considered this a mind dump and moved on. Alrighty. So my dream isn't the title is kind of lame. It's called Treelines. I could have totally came up with a better one, but Treelines is the one that I came up with at
Sounds very artsy.
whatever time in the morning it was. So it's not a long dream, but it's one that really stuck with me, and there are certain symbols in it that I think carry significance in the dream world.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna go with it. Um, and this was one of those weeks I was back and forth between what dream I wanted to talk about, but I went with this one. So here it goes. So in this dream, I was in an area that I had been to before in another dream. I don't know it in real life, but it had similar vibes and feelings compared to a dream I had a while back.
Gotcha.
Um, I was
I like this already. That makes me excited.
I was
When you
and it
revisit
like
something.
completely different topics and people, but it was just the area was familiar to me as if it was a neighborhood or a town you went to visit again.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but in this dream, it's actually funny because in that dream, I was I was in like a rich part of town, and I kind of considered myself a member of the town, like upper class. Or I remember I had like some kind of status. I couldn't remember enough of the dream to talk about it, but
Yeah.
in this dream, I'm in a similar area, but I'm um, in a trade, so I guess more of like a blue collar type job that I'm trying to learn. So I'm training to be I'm training for this job with this young guy, looks to be maybe in his 20s or so. So somebody that entered a trade, out of high school, and he's training me to either be what's a tree trimmer or like an electrician. So I can't quite figure out what
Oh,
our ultimate purpose is.
these are very different things, at least in my head, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
At first, I was
so
like, am I missing, like, do I not know something? Okay.
so I will explain. So the premise of our job is we have to cover miles and miles of roadway, and there's telephone poles along the roads. So
Okay.
I mean like miles of just telephone poles, one after another. Um, so it looks like there's electrical wires kind of hanging and connecting between each pole. If
Like
you can
normal
picture that in
telephone
real life.
poles?
Hmm.
Okay.
Just like in real life, like
Yeah.
what birds sit on sometimes.
Yes.
If people can't envision what I'm talking about yet.
It's what my,
Um,
why my car has bird shit all over it, because I'm right
so
under the telephone wires.
I feel like our job is to make those and facilitate those. But right now,
Okay.
what we're working with are they're not telephone poles, they're still trees. So they're like vibrantly green, healthy trees just lining the roads. And our job is to connect red rope
Mhm.
as if they're electrical wires between each tree.
Okay. Okay. I
And
like this. I don't know why I'm really, really into this one for some reason right now.
it was, and then I think ultimately the impression I got was that this we end up trimming the trees and making them into telephone poles. But the red,
Someone's gonna come and hang the wires on your
yeah, I
I
think
get it.
so.
I get it.
And
I
I
like
and
it.
the reason for this is the red rope that we're hanging between each tree.
Uh-huh.
If you have ever, so when we built our patio in real life, the you have this string that has chalk that's covered in chalk, and then you outline the area that you want to be your patio, and then once the string is pulled out into the area that you want, you lift the string up in the air and then you drop it down kind of quickly so that it smacks against the ground and it leaves a chalk mark.
Okay.
People may have used this before. I've never used it till that point. So it's basically like you measure out what area you want. You take this chalk rope string and then it marks the area for you. So
Okay.
that was what we were using in our dream, but it was thicker. So it was this like really thick red kind of rope, and I saw it as the chalk string. I'm sure there's a different term for it, but that's what I got. So it's almost like we were making like a rough draft, or that was like the preliminary um, way that the where the electrical rope or strings would go. So the way we did this was we were floating, and it was like a raft, like an inflatable raft, like what you would lay on in your pool almost, but it was white with like red stripes
You're on like a magic
on it.
carpet ride.
Yeah, and that's how we like hovered. We somehow hovered in the air, and then we just like hung the red string from one tree to another, just like calmly floating. It was actually pretty sweet. And
You sound
so
like relaxing.
it was phenomenally relaxing when I was in the air on this thing, and I felt very in control, which is very important. We'll talk about that. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
In a dream, if you're flying or if you're floating or if you're falling or in the air. And I'm going to send you a link to post in whatever media you so choose that has a nice table um, that kind of shows the context, because I think people dream about flying and floating a lot. So if you
Yeah.
want if you want a quick reference to try to interpret your dream, you can use that. So I'm going to send that to Jaynee so she can do it. Um, so I was, again, had a very calm feeling, floating through the air doing my job, and I felt like very purposeful and very proud of what I was doing. And there was like a lot of people around me. I felt a great sense of teamwork, and like this kid was like my partner and like a really good mentor to me. I wish I had this dream in real life. Apparently, I really liked it. So after we kind of did our first day, and he kind of was walking me through what I was supposed to do, we were sitting down and we had a map of kind of all the routes and the roads and the trees in the area.
Yeah.
And then he was drawing, almost looked like a maze, um, with a pencil of what areas we were going to go to next. And then he was like, "Yeah, but I'm not gonna get into that detail with you yet. You'll get there eventually. That's not really your role yet." And I was really passionate, and I was like, "No, why not me? I need to learn how to do this now. I'm ready and I'm willing and I really want to step up. And, just because I'm a girl doesn't mean I can't do this. I want you to show me everything you know." And he was like, "Okay." So he was like, we were putting X's on different routes. And then I would say, like, "Well, let's go down this road." And he would be like, "No, we have to go XX here and go that way." And it was like very vivid in my dream, like up, down, left, right, do, 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 do. Um, so then we were done for the day, and we had to go recoup. And I went back to a house, and G was there, and her aunt Tracy was there,
Uh-huh.
and there was a baby there too. And I don't know if it was my baby. I got the impression that it was like the boy's baby. And like Tracy and G were kind of helping to care for it. So I don't know whose baby it was. It might have been mine. I didn't feel that though in my dream, which I think usually I do.
Yeah.
Usually I have this weird, as I've talked about, this weird compelling need to like save children in my dreams. So
Yeah.
I did not feel that. I mean, it was a cute baby, but it was just like, oh, like, mom, not my baby.
That baby's cool. It's all good.
Like I was like really like it was
Someone's
like
taking care of that thing.
when you have like a hard day's work and you're like sweating and like dirty,
Yeah.
and I like was ready to go home and like crack a beer and like chill out with my bros.
Take a
That's
nice
kind of how
shower
I
here.
felt. um, and that was pretty much my dream. That was it.
So I have a question before you go into anything. When you were because where I have you, I have this like picture of you like floating on this. Of course, it's not like you described though, because my mind like, no, this is what you're gonna picture. um, like you're in a if you want to know what you're floating in my mind, it's a blow up swimming pool, like a rectangle blow up swimming pool is what you.
Man, that would make the job probably perfect.
You're not in the swimming pool though, like, or you're in it, but
Oh,
there's no water. It's just like that's what your device is that you're
I
floating
gotcha.
on. And I just picture you like zooming up these streets, like no like stopping, like you're just like whoop, whip that one, whoop, whip that
That's
one.
what I mean. It was pretty. It was like what almost like what a magic carpet would do.
So were there
And it was
houses or anything nearby, or were you just like in the
and
woods? Like I got you on like a dirt
and
road
so initially
with forest.
there was, but then we got where we were going to work, and it was basically like when you watch a movie and it's the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
dirt road leading miles and miles and miles until you see the closest rinky-dink town.
Okay.
But that's what it's funny because it's like I started out in that neighborhood that I know in a prior dream is kind of like what I would consider a like upper class area, and
Hmm.
I felt some attachment to it, whether I was on vacation there, like an Airbnb situation, or I lived there, or I was visiting. And in this situation, it was like so it's almost like I went from like white collar to blue collar, if you want to say it in those terms. That's kind of how I felt.
Gotcha.
But I felt a great sense of reward and satisfaction at the end of this dream um,
I never knew white
compared to the
collar
other
was a
one.
thing. Got stuck on
So
that.
yeah, so if you like white collar crimes, it's usually like fancy pants businessmen who get
Yeah.
caught
I feel like I've never
for
like
like
put it all
insider
together.
trading or some
Yeah, I
nonsense,
mean that
and then
makes
blue
sense.
collar like the working man gets their hands dirty.
Heard that.
Um, and I don't mean anything by that. It's just kind of old dated terms, I guess. Um, so as far as interpretation of the dreams, there are a few things that stuck out to me. So the trees, very tall pine trees, very green. Um, the rope was and the string was definitely red, and then that sense of calm that I got floating up in the air. So let's talk about the floating first.
Uh-huh.
So again, we've talked about this before, and the context is very important here. Even the difference between floating and flying. And this website kind of gets into this more. So it's exemplar.com, which I haven't been on before.
Mhm.
Um, and again, there's a nice chart, and it talks about floating in the context of in the air versus straight up in the air versus downward versus in space and possible meanings. So I'll just talk about in the air. Um, it has a sense of new beginnings, of peace, of feeling calm. Um, and then if you're floating with wings, it's a sense of good luck, success, and happiness. Um, so I kind of took the with wings as if you're supported by something. So I was supported by something while floating in the air.
Okay.
And I guess you could argue I was flying, but I had a sense of floating, so calling it floating.
Now I feel like you're
Um,
floating. You're not flying. Look at me.
so
Like
again,
it's
like,
not even my dream, and I'm like,
yeah, I
that's
don't
not what you were
know.
doing. You were
Because
floating.
especially because the thing I was on was
It's
a
like a magic
blown up
carpet.
flotation device, so I felt like it was
Yeah.
just like lighter and fluffy,
Yeah.
and I I was not doing any work. Like
Yeah.
it was, I was controlling what it did, and it was doing the work for me, if you will.
Good.
So, so basically, I from that I got a sense of new beginning, peace, calm sensation, and that's what I felt in my dream. and then if you're supported, good luck, success, and happiness. So I next went to the interpretation of trees. So this is from dreamprice.com. Dreaming of a tree can have many different meanings, and both good and bad, of course. Um, the dream of a tree can represent your growth as a human being, which will have a mental climb, and then ultimately, hopefully, material wealth if you so choose. On the other hand, it can mean disappointment and bad feelings, and represent kind of your journey of growth, which you can imagine, growing up a tree.
Yeah.
And then I also, because I had the sense that our ultimate goal is to cut down these trees and be like we were tree trimmers. So I looked up what it means to cut down trees. So
Mm-hmm.
the dream about a tree being cut down means that something in your life is holding you back. Um, and ancient dream interpreters would say that the dream of cutting down a tree signifies the fall of kingdom of power. Um, I'm going to pause there because I don't know what that was. I took a screenshot of that. And lastly, I looked up red as oh and then sorry, getting back to the tree. So green, the trees were very green to me, so that could be a symbol of vitality and wealth as well, which kind of correlates back to everything else.
Yeah.
And then I also looked up the color red. I feel like green and red are all the colors hold symbolism in different cultures and whatnot, but I feel like green and red are just very strong colors, that often hold a lot of meaning.
Yeah.
So this is from dreammoods.com. Several sources kind of describe the same thing. Red is an indication of, they quote, raw energy, force, vigor, intense passion, aggression, power, courage, impulsiveness, and passion. So I think all just very intense emotions, and you just have to
Yes.
apply it appropriately to the rest of your dream. And the common phrase "seeing red" can denote anger, as they say. And this was an interesting take. Alternatively, the color red in your dream can indicate a lack of energy, which I wouldn't think of,
Hmm.
and it kind of means the opposite. So again, it
I was
kind of
gonna say, yeah, because I just looked up the color red the other day, and like basically like what I found, that like whatever emotion that you are feeling in that dream is going to be strong. Like it
yeah,
doesn't
it's just like
mean
an
like,
intensity, right,
yeah.
and passion. So kind of piecing this all together, I think it just speaks to growth in my life, and the trees wanting to grow from there, and whether it's in my career and in my personal life, and then cutting down the trees, it can be a symbol of kind of what's holding you back, um, and then the floating, ultimately some calmness. So hopefully I'm figuring out whatever it is I ultimately want to do, and
Mm-hmm.
will have a passion for long term in my life. I think professionally and personally,
Yeah.
which is something I think about on a weekly basis, if not a daily basis. And I was just talking to somebody about this today.
Mm-hmm.
A girl I met at an office, and she said, I said, "Do you like working here?" And she said, "I do. It was my first job out of school. I still don't know what I want to do long term." And I said, I don't know if we ever really know that.
No.
I think if you do, it's either a sense of like you're settling, you, or else you're just truly happy and content in what you're doing. And oftentimes, if that's the case, and then you just want to grow more in that field. So it's like, what's the next step, or how can I sharpen? Or else you're tapped out and you're ready to retire.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that's human nature, just to keep wanting
exactly,
more.
yeah, just well, like we just talked
To put
about
it
this
like,
last week too, about houses, and about
yeah.
you're always wanting to know what's the next step, what is this, what is
Yep.
that. So yeah, that's what I kind of got from that dream. Though short, I thought there were a lot of strong symbols in it.
Yeah. No, I like it. I like it. I like it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's all I got.
All right. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to follow us on our social medias on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Send us your dreams to what the fuck did I, or I'm sorry, that's not what it is. Send us your dreams to WTF did I dream last night at gmail.com because we love to read them. If you like us, give us a review on Apple Podcasts because it definitely helps us out, or join us over on Patreon for some bonus content.
Yes, and I probably should have said this earlier. Thank you for dealing with my kind of hoarse voice this week. I just came off of 7 days of work, and I'm always like tired and have no voice. So if I sound weird, I'm sorry and quiet. But thank you for dealing. And thank you for listening. Definitely check out that social and extra content that Jaynee does a great job with. And we are going to be talking a little bit more about some kind of research episodes. So, as we talk about some recurrent themes like dream memories and like the dream crew, so and dream friends. So, we just kind of want to do some more research into that. So that's going to be coming up ahead at some point. And if you have anything that you're interested in and you want us to research, let us know.
Yes.
And until next time, everybody, happy dreaming.
Bye.